And Jason joins us now on the CarX Tire and Auto guest hotline. He was on the sidelines, of course, as he always is, for the hometown call, the radio call right here on ESPN Chicago. First of all, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. How you guys feeling after all the news?
It's crazy. We're feeling all right. I don't know what to feel. I still can't wrap my head around how they botched it. What was going through your mind as you were watching it on the Bears sideline yesterday in Detroit?
Yeah, I had to remember what role I was in because obviously, as being a high school coach, I almost ran out there and called the timeout myself after the sack by Caleb. I was like, after he got sacked, I'm like, man, 36 seconds to get sacked and call it. This at least okay. Let's say if we hesitated a little bit to call the timeout, at least 28 to 30 seconds left on the clock. You know what I mean? So. It's third down now. You figure, okay, I need at least 7 yards. Ideally, if I get 10 yards, I'm happy because now I'm well within Cairo's range to give us a chance to tie the game and push it to the overtime. So I call a play. That play's got to be at least on the sideline. Receivers got to get out of bounds. But if that play is anywhere in the middle of the field, I'm already on the headset with my special teams coordinator telling him, hey, alert Mayday field goal. That's what we called it when Coach Tobe was there. Alert Mayday field goal. I know, through situationally during practice, that a Mayday field goal situation, how long does it take our field goal team to run out on the field and operate a successful, field goal kick, which that usually takes 15, 18 seconds, depending on the speed in which you do it. And you time that throughout practice. So I know how much time I got to have on the clock for that to happen. So you call the timeout, we run the play. If we get 7, 10 yards, we're at the sideline, good. Perfect. You know what I mean? Now we still line up to kick the field goal. But if that ball's in the middle of the field, bam, offense runs off, field goal team runs on. We kick the game time field goal as time's expiring. We go in the overtime. That's the process. That's one option. Obviously, we heard the other option that he's been talking about all morning, but he did talk about the second option. So it was very confusing. Just to see them standing there and the clock running down.
You summed it up the way Jurko did. Like, these are things that are drilled. You guys are prepared for this. Special teams is prepared for it. This is not anything new.
How many emergency field goals did you practice over the course of a career, Jason?
Look, we practice it. I mean, it was a 2-minute situation, or you practice that. A lot of coaches will practice that at the end of practice, like every single day. As a high school coach, we do it every single day, and you create different scenarios and situations so that way, when the time arises, you have some type of plan or some type of, form of action. But, Mayday field goal, Saturday, we'd go through it on Friday. Any type of mock game situation or any time you're practicing, your field goal team, you have that Mayday field goal operation in practice. So that way, like we saw yesterday, when that situation, arises, you're prepared for it.
What was that locker room like afterwards? And just what's from the way you can tell, what is just sort of the overall maybe feel of it here these last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it was very, very tense in the locker room. I could tell guys were mad. I think I texted our ESPN group chat that I was looking at Ryan Poles and his face was red.
You did.
We interviewed Coach Flus after the game, and they were in there before we could even get in there to interview him. They were in there for a long time. With Poles, it was Kevin Warren, and they usually meet with him after every game, but they were in there for a long time. And it took forever to get Caleb, his interview because we got to interview the coach first. But I knew something was up, and Kevin Warren stayed after. He talked to a couple guys on his way out. Him and Poles was standing there talking right in front of me. I'm just sitting there just looking at him, and I knew something was going to go down. They had, they were showing disbelief. They were upset. I could tell they were agitated, frustrated. So I knew something was going to happen. So when that old press conference came about this morning, there was a lot of confusion when Coach Flus talked about, hey, I'd be getting ready to coach the San Fran game next Sunday. So I was kind of confused by that. I was like, wow, from the way I saw it, and the way the results of the game, I saw that the writing was on the wall.
Wow, really? I mean, I can't believe they sent him out to meet the media, Jason. I mean, and I appreciate your sort of input on what you saw and the way you sort of felt it, because people have wondered, well, were they still making up their minds this morning? How could that be? I mean, how they hadn't... Yeah. That seems surprising to me. If they were going to do it, I would have thought that they would have known by the end of the day yesterday or first thing this morning. Why did they send him out to meet the media today?
Yeah, and you think, by how confidently he had that press conference saying that, hey, we're going to review the tape, and then, we're going to move on to San Fran, and I'm confident I'll be coaching that game. Obviously, there was nothing said last night when they left the stadium and obviously got on the plane and landed at Dallas and stuff like that. And, he talked about them having their normal meeting, post-game meeting, at Dallas like they do every week. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they're just going to, keep them on and reevaluate at the end of the season since they've never fired a head coach in season. So I was kind of confused by the whole timeline and how things go. But at the end of the day, man, with the soap opera that has been up there, and it hurts me to say it because, I'm a Bears fan. I'm passionate, former player. It's like family to me, but it's been a soap opera, man. Let's keep it real. Yeah. It's been a soap opera every single year, and it's beyond frustrating for the fans. As former players, we got a text thread. We're all frustrated and mad at the same time because the entire city, all we want to do is see this organization succeed. And it's just the same thing over and over again. It's failure. It's non-organization. It's just disaster. And it's sad when you see other franchises having success and we're in the same old boat, the same old merry-go-round that we've seen for years. And it's terrible because you got a lot of good guys in that locker room, a lot of committed guys in that locker room. And, there's a lot of guys in the locker room that you can make plays. You got to play better. But there's a lot of guys that are playing their hearts out in the locker room. And, it's no reason why this year, it's crazy. The last-second losses that we've had, everything. It's just a disaster, man. There's no other way to explain it.
What kind of pop do they get maybe 1 week, 2 weeks? Jurko talks about that new coach pop. It might not last long, but what do they get out of Thomas Brown getting ready for the San Fran game now?
Yeah, I think you're going to get what he's brought to the offense. You're going to get, first off, organization. You're going to get energy. You're going to get a guy who can obviously, he understands, he's a ball coach, right? He's going to hold his emotions on his sleeves. He's going to hold guys accountable. What we saw yesterday is a guy who made tremendous adjustments at halftime. That's the main thing as a head coach. Can you make adjustments, situationally, or can you handle situations, and can you operate in critical moments of the game, something we haven't seen consistently all year. But I think that's what you're going to see from Thomas Brown. You're going to see guys wanting to play for him because he brings energy, he holds them accountable. So let's see. It's a good audition for him for the remainder of the season. I want to see how he's going to be able to manage head coaching duties with also, if he's still calling the offensive plays. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Eric Washington is the defensive coordinator. I guess he's going to be calling the defense. I don't know if they came out and said that.
Yeah, good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my question now. How does, I think Thomas will do a great job, but it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the head coaching duties on top of his, if he's still the offensive play caller on top of that as well.
All right, buddy. We appreciate the insights. Thanks, Jay, and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again next week getting ready for the